Hello, my name is Rebecca Hoda-Kearse, and I'm the Title IX Coordinator and Affirmative Action Officer, and I'm here to talk to you about Title IX and related reporting for students. So, as we're here for, of course, compliance purposes, ultimately we are here to raise awareness. And the points that I'm going to be discussing today really relate around what is Title IX, what is sexual discrimination, domestic and sexual violence and stalking, who to report it to, and also make you available of the resources that we have at your disposal, and you're able to recognize what is available to you and others. Let's start with the definition of Title IX. Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 prohibits sexual discrimination in education programs and activities. Ultimately, no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. When we talk about the definition of sexual harassment, it ultimately means conduct on the basis of sex that satisfies one or more of the following: an employee or the recipient conditioning the provision of an aid, benefit, or service of the recipient in an individual's participation in unwelcome sexual conduct. 2, unwelcome conduct determined by a reasonable person to be so severe, pervasive, and objectively offensive that it effectively denies a person equal access to the recipient's education program or activity. Sexual assault, dating violence, domestic violence, and stalking as defined in those statutes. When it comes to sex discrimination, it includes all forms of sexual harassment, including verbal sexual harassment and sexual violence by employees, students, or third parties against employees, students, or third parties. Anyone can be a reporting individual or a respondent. Discrimination can impact all genders and employees at all ranks of the institution. So there are some rights for reporting individuals that wish to report any of those previous items. You have a right to make a report to university police, campus security, law enforcement, and or state police, or you have a right not to report it. You can report it to the institution, and that would be me as a Title IX coordinator, and I'll give you a little bit more information on that later. You have a right to be protected by the institution from retaliation for reporting the incident. We take this really, really seriously. And you have a right to receive assistance and resources from ESF, including an advisor. And if it's something that goes to a hearing that escalates to other levels, you have a right to cross-examination during the hearing if a hearing is required. For people responding to an incident or an allegation, those individuals also have rights to receive assistance and resources from ESF, including an advisor, and also to have a cross-examination, questions asked during the hearing if a hearing is required. This is a new part of the regulation that occurred in this past year. Next, I want to talk to you about affirmative consent. This is really, really important and not something that everyone knows. We will be learning a little bit more on different programming throughout the semester and throughout the year connected to the Choose Action Network, and you will be hearing from them as a part of your orientation. But I just wanted to make note that affirmative consent is knowing, voluntary, and mutual decision amongst all participants to engage in sexual activity. And ultimately, consent can be given by words or actions as long as those words or actions create clear permission regarding willingness to engage in the sexual activity. So there should be someone asking for consent before any action. Next, I want to talk about if you come to the point where you want to make a report to the Title IX office. You could be doing that for yourself or someone else. Regardless, resources and options will be given depending upon what direction you would like to go. Control of the process is with the individual. Accommodations can be made if needed. So reporting to Title IX equals resources and options available to you. There are different types of resources on campus. We have private resources where people or only speak about matters within need to know individuals. I am one of the people, and we also have Dean M. Lombard, Dr. Lombard in Bray Hall, and Amy McLaughlin, also in Bray Hall. We keep things private within our realms and only speak to individuals that need to be involved. Confidential resources include counseling services, chaplains at SU Hendricks Chapel, Vera House, which is a wonderful resource we have a connection to, and someone that comes on campus to support students. The confidential resources, they will not alert us on the private side or anyone at the institution unless they have your consent to do so. So we wanted to make sure that you were aware of all of these resources in addition to police, University Police, Syracuse City Police, and New York State Police 24-hour hotline, because these resources are all at your fingertips if you are interested in contacting them. It's listed here on the slide, but it's also available on the Title IX webpage, so you can access this at any point in time. There also is a few other resources on our website. We have a bias reporting system where you can anonymously or tied to your name submit any incident that you feel is an example of a bias or a hate incident. For example, bullying, harassment, intimidation, degrading language, something that makes you feel uncomfortable about the climate at the institution. Someone will reach out to you after you have the bias report submitted, if you have your name tied to the report, or it could just be an FYI to the community if you would like to submit it anonymously and think about if you would like to come forward with your identity. It's really important that we come together as a community to make sure that we jointly have a safe place to learn, live, coexist, and be together. It's a small campus, and it's important that we report as things come forward, and also make sure that we're adhering to the standards and policies and procedures of the college. So if you don't know, we also have an app. It's Resilient Oaks that you can download on your iPhone or Android, and it has all of these resources plus many more at your fingertips if you need any kind of support or contact information. So ultimately, as we summarize, students have resources and options if you can go to the Title IX website or through the Resilient Oaks app. There are protections and accommodations and grievance procedures on and off campus for you. It's up to you to make our campus climate safer. We all that work here are committed to doing our best to support you. So it's important that we all work together. And I hope you have a very wonderful semester.